Good evening. We bring you the latest in the world of sports. I'm Paolo Del Rosario.
We give you the conversations you want to hear from your favorite icons and athletes. I'm Sam Corrales. Watch the game live and our past episodes on demand on the Pilipinas Live app for just 149 pesos a month, available for download on Google Play or on the App Store.
Buckle up, sports fans. So let's get in the game. We're a week into the PVL and things are looking better and brighter already for the season-ending All-Filipino Conference. Now, here to take a look at yesterday's results and the upcoming games this weekend is PVL analyst Jamie Lavitoria. Jamie, last time you were here, I had a horrible time in terms of my wordplay and in terms of the words I use. So let's try and see if I can improve on that here. Let's take a look at some of the games yesterday, though. You actually covered in that particular game day. Which one do you want to start out with first?
The PLDT game.
All right, so with PLDT, what impressed you here with Davison? Because a lot of people had expectations from her coming in.
Well, I wanted to highlight her because in her last match, you can see that she's still trying to adjust to the system of Coach Ralph. And in fact, the Philippine system of volleyball. So I wanted to highlight her because she already improved from yesterday's game. She is gelling well with Rhea, their setter. And you notice in her games that she has the hops, and a lot of her attacks are in between the block or is actually towering over the block. So it's important that the defense of her opponent really stays low on defense.
You know, Pao, Jamie has been at it in the PVL so
Yes.
far. She's been covering almost every game day, so she knows what's going on, like from start to finish, well, from her last game day. So now, Jamie, let's talk about another game, Chocomucho and Farm Fresh.
Yeah.
You wanted to highlight Cici Rondina.
So yesterday, Chocomucho was actually down the start of the first set, but they had a 12-0 run, and you know, you question the maturity of the Farm Fresh Foxies because you're going up against the vets. So Cici Rondina, when she has that momentum, it is impossible to defend her attacks. When she, like again, just like Davison, she also has the hops. So you need to minimize all the inconsistencies of Farm Fresh and don't let Chocomucho have that momentum.
Now let's talk about the new teams. You're talking about, you know, maturity with Chocomucho and the new ones coming in. So let's talk about the galleries. They had a game against the Cherry Tigo crossovers. Unfortunately, they lost that in straight sets. Actually, all of the games yesterday were won in straight sets. So possibly the fastest game day so far
8
in
p.m.
the PVL.
You know, we're saying so far, baka the next one might be a bit extended. But yeah, about that game.
In terms of the galleries, it's a new team. They're still adjusting to the system. You can see that their movements are not as fluid. They're not gelling, unlike Cherry Tigo, who has the chemistry. So it really takes some time. I mean, time is your companion in the game of sports. So you really need the maturity first.
Yeah, you know, you said the magic word just a while ago in terms of adjustment. And Atida has to make another adjustment, and that is because Sed Domingo news that she is going to be playing overseas, abroad, exploring new horizons. And of course, first of all, we have to be really happy for Sed and the opportunity right in front of her.
I mean, you don't have Gia de Guzman. I mean, it's a huge adjustment for the Creamline Cool Smashers. But I always say this, they have a lot of weapons that can be there with Bernadette Pons in the mix. And I have to give credit to Kyle Negrito. She has been doing a great job. She's under a lot of pressure, but I'm sure she's blocking out the outside noise. And let's see in the next match.
And of course, it's always a good thing for players to be seeing action overseas. Of course, they're going to sharpen their skills, and maybe as soon as they come back to Creamline, you know, they have more to impart to their teammates. So what are you excited about Sed and probably what she could bring overseas and maybe as she comes back to Creamline?
Well, when you play overseas, we don't know where she's going to play. It wasn't announced.
It's still a secret.
It's
so
still a secret, guys.
Rumors. Yes.
But when you play internationally and you bring all the learnings from the team that you were at to the Philippines, it adds like a new level, a new depth to the team, and maybe that will be better for Creamline.
Yeah, you know, I'm just reminded of like when Mylene Paat went out to become an import and she came back, it felt like she was a completely different player and was turned out to be one of the better scorers in the PVL. But you take a look at the Creamline right now, at least in the short term. Grabe mga changes. Almost enforced because of the departures. You take a look at what it takes to adjust and still be on top. Just how difficult would it be for the coaching staff and the players adjusting to all of this?
Well, I think they have such a seasoned roster. They've been with the PVL since 2018 under the system of Coach Sherwin Menezes. So, you know, they're vets. They don't have time to think of what they should do next. They just move forward, and that's what you can see from Creamline this conference.
Of course, they have a lot in their arsenal. So you mentioned Kyle Negrita really stepping up. She had 3 points and 23
Wow.
excellent sets. That's just amazing. And of course, more opportunity was given also to Bernadette Pons.
Yes.
Yeah.
She actually came off the bench. She was not a starter.
Right.
She went in for Tots Carlos. And I said this last time, it's kind of like the rebirth of Bernadette Pons back in indoor. And I mean, she was the beach volley partner of CC.
Yeah.
You know, they were rivals and teammates and then rivals again. So do expect more playing time, especially after that game.
It was a throwback to a UAAP time in the UAAP
Yep.
when Sam was still in school.
Oh, wow.
I
Sorry,
may
what
have
year
been
then?
still in school. I think, yeah, I don't know. Our age gap's not that big. But let us all now focus on the games happening on Saturday tomorrow. It's going to be in Batangas City.
Yep.
And Jamie, as always, will be there because
I told
she's
you.
a fixture in every PBL game day.
On that streak.
Absolutely. But you are excited because your mom is from Batangas.
Yes, my mom is from Batangas. I have not been to Batangas in such a long time. And not only am I excited to cover the games, you know, Lomi, it's
Lomi.
there.
Yeah,
That's-
Lomi's there.
I mean, it's there.
I don't know how you can bring some home to us, but those are the games happening tomorrow, Petrogas and Jerflor, and of course Creamline against Signal. Let's focus first on that Petrogas game in particular, as well as with Jerflor. Staying consistent has to be a thing for them here in the early part of PVL.
That's right. They're with Coach Timmy now. I said this earlier about Creamline. They are also a seasoned roster. They have a lot of vets on their team. So it depends on who can adjust quicker. And when you have vets on your team, you know, you don't have to think too much. You just have to play the game, and you're able to adjust right away.
Yeah, you talked about Petrogas, you know, being the veteran teams. They have a new coach and Coach
Yep.
Timmy. And what's interesting is that, you know, he told me that his like philosophy or
Yeah.
what he wants to bring to this team is actually just finding out how to manage everybody's like veteranness. I mean, like experience,
true.
right?
Yes,
Because
yes.
everybody
That's
is
true.
just so seasoned, so it's
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
about just making them shine. Now let's talk about another game, the Creamline Cool Smashers and the Signal HE Spikers. This is exciting because
Huge game.
Eliza is also from Batangas.
Yes.
Yeah, there's going to be home ground support there also,
So
and
exciting.
a lot of Lomi to go around and ask for. But you take a look at the Creamline, and I'm sure Signal, skin out na to.
That's right. Signal, they were there for the opening game against Akari. And I mean, the way that they were playing, like I've been saying this entire segment, seasoned roster as well. With the loss of Rachel Andakis and Jovelyn Gonzaga, you see Ces Molina really stepping up, and also Vanny Gander.
Yeah, again, a test of consistency for sure, but then you take a look at Creamline. There will always be points to improve,
Yes.
but then what do you think they need to do just to make sure that they have the edge over Signal?
So in their last match against the Chacamucha Flying Titans, they committed 9 unforced errors in the third set, which allowed Chacamucha to capitalize on that set. So I think they should lessen their unforced errors and maybe set more to the middle to add variation to the offense.
Now, just quickly, who do you think will shine in that game tomorrow between the Creamline Cool Smashers and the Signal HE Spikers?
So with the Creamline Cool Smashers, I would have to say Kyle Negrito.
Okay.
She's the playmaker. And on the side of Signal, do expect Ces Molina to just give it her all. She is the MVP from the Invitational Conference.
Again, PVL goes to Batangas City tomorrow. Petrogas Angels against the Jerflor Defenders at 4 p.m. and at 6 p.m. the Creamline Cool Smashers take on the Signal HD Spikers. And you will see the fixture of the PVL in Jamie Lavitoria wandering around looking for Lomi.
Yes,
Point
Jamie
her
on
to the
tour as she
direction.
goes back to her hometown. All the best tomorrow, Jamie, and enjoy. Bring some Lomi next time on the game. So, after the break, we'll shift to UAAP basketball as we hear courtside stories from our Season 86 correspondents. Stay tuned, you're watching The Game. Welcome back. You're still watching the game. We are days away from the conclusion of round 1 of the UAAP Season 86 Men's Basketball Tournament. And here with us now to give us stories from courtside are UAAP correspondents Allison reporting for UE and Carla Elizaga reporting for the UP Fighting Maroons. First of all, ladies, welcome to the game and congratulations on your second season.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much, Sam. We're really glad to be here and thank you for having us tonight.
I know. So it is round 2, year 2 for you guys. So can you let us in on, the journey so far with your teams? How is this season different so far compared to season 85? Let's start with you, Allison.
Okay, so I guess season 85, as you may know, I'm not from UE, so it's really just getting to know the school, getting to know the community. And now that I'm here for the second season, it's all about doing a better job at uncovering more stories from these community and just letting you guys know who the real UE Red Warriors are, one report at a time.
All right. Carla?
Yeah, well, actually, I think, Allison, we were talking about this. For both our teams, they also feel completely different. A bunch of new players on both our ends. And I think a really good thing about having a second season is that it's a lot less nerves. You know what to expect. And yes, I guess same with Allison. It's more about how to elevate your reporting and elevating the type of storytelling that you do per game.
Love that. We always have to step up, Power, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was going to say that felt like a double-edged sword because I want to congratulate you first for helping these girls develop. From
They're
Sam
amazing.
Corrales to Mama Sam, I don't know what to call her. But let's start off. Carla, you mentioned a while ago, getting to know the team again feels familiar but unfamiliar. And for some of the new players for UP, how has that been? Because UP right now, honestly, has been one of the teams to watch out for because of the recruitment, because of the new players coming in.
Yeah, well, that's, definitely true. A bunch of new players. Like, one of the players that we had, I actually got to meet him last season, is Sean Alter.
Yeah.
Well, something about him is like, his full name is actually Sean Stark Alter. And with that, I was always wondering, where was that from?
Yeah.
And then it came about. He was telling me it's actually like a generational family name for him. So that was really cool. I thought it was like his family were big fans of Marvel.
Yeah.
Like Tony Stark. I was getting ready for that.
Sabihin ko sana Game of Thrones eh. But yes, go on.
Yeah.
But still, the generation family is there, but of course, from what I hear, he's also homeschooled, so a bit of a different environment, I'm sure, for him.
Yeah, well, he was actually homeschooled by his mom, very close to his parents. Definitely a lot of family support on his end. And actually, it was his mom that encouraged him to play basketball. Yeah, like he was in a car ride with his mom, and his mom turned to him and said, "Hey, you're pretty tall for your age. You should try out basketball."
Now, Allison, let's go to the Red Warriors. There is one guy who is making a name for himself already in round 1. Let's talk about Ethan Galang. What do you have for us?
Well, Ethan Galang, a funny thing, he told me that when he was a kid, basketball wasn't his first love. He used to love baseball so much. But then growing up in LA, his family were avid fans of Kobe Bryant and the Lakers. So he just eventually fell in love with the sport more. And more so, not just the sport, but also the culture around it. And as we all know, the Philippines is so known for its basketball culture. Our culture here is just incomparable. And so he told me that he is adjusting very well in the UAAP because of it. The culture that we have, especially in the UAAP, the fans and the UE community is showing a much stronger support this season. So it's something to look forward
Now,
to.
what about one of their, main guys now, Ray Remogat?
Yeah.
Is it
Yes.
true that he was not, officially
Recruited.
Yeah, he was not a recruit.
Ray
for the
Remogat
team.
actually just walked in
Yeah.
2 years ago in a UE tryouts, and Coach Jack, the minute he saw him, how he plays, he just knew that we would need this guy someday. And this season, he has been stepping up. And I asked him, he is the main man, so there must be some pressure he is feeling. But he told me that he is not feeling any pressure at all, and it's because of his faith.
Yeah.
It's not because of his confidence. And this faith is very much reflective also in the way he leads the team in prayer. Before the game, after the game, he is always the man to lead the prayer. So it really speaks a lot on the character and the kind of man he is outside the court.
Yeah, before he ended up in UE, he did try out for multiple teams, not just UE. So he really bet on himself, especially after not really making it with the FEU.
And that's so
back in
good.
the
I
day.
mean, this is why the UAP is here to give like opportunities for all these guys.
100%. And of course, you take a look at, with opportunities, there's also opportunities for redemption here. And I use that word because, Carla, there's some of the younger players in UP feel like they need a bit of a redemption story.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Especially coming from last season, in season 85, one of the rookies, Aldo Stercolas, I absolutely loved his story. He's one of the only homegrown UP players. He's actually from UPIS.
Yeah.
And I love this story because he shared with me before how he feels he was destined to play for UP.
Oh, wow.
He wasn't from there during his junior high school. And then when he was also in a car ride with his dad, when they passed by UP, his dad told him, I feel like you're gonna study in UP. That was in junior high school. And then the next year after, he ended up going to UPIS, got recruited by UPMBT, and just to see him now, his growth from his rookie year, tremendous. Like, he was starting in a couple of games, so I just love seeing that avenue, like you were saying, Sam, that UAAP provides, for all these athletes.
Yeah, and of course, speaking of opportunities, let's talk about Seven Gagate, also
Yeah.
from the UP Fighting Maroons. What can you tell us about him?
Well, with Seven, I had to ask him because I'm sure like Ray had the opportunity to go to a lot of different schools. So I asked him, like, why UP? And apparently the story also goes way back because he shared with me that his older brother was also coached by Coach Gold. So there was just that trust, that familiarity with the system. And he said, okay, UP is the school for us. So he brought along with him like his two closest friends as well from the team, si Josh Coronel and Luis Pablo. And it's also great because Pabs also shared with me how they also fell short of their title in their high school league. So even though they weren't part of UP, there's that definite, there's that way they can empathize with them.
Absolutely. And of course, Allison, we're going to end this with you. And I'm really curious about what we were talking about off the air a while ago, that you felt that this is such a new team that you have to get to know them. You mentioned a while ago, you're not even on campus and you have to get to know this team, but you discovered them at a different level than we have. What are you excited for the fans to discover about this UE team that they haven't just yet?
Well, I can say that we may be looking at a brand new team for the Warriors this season, but the same sense of brotherhood is still there. I've mentioned Ray Remoga. There's also a lot of veterans stepping up. We have Welo, Lingo.
Yeah.
And especially with Jared Wilson having to sit out of the games this season because of his shoulder injury, according to Coach Jack, looking at it in a brighter perspective, this is an opportunity for the other guys to step up. And you see it, despite, having language barriers, most of the rookies now are Phil Lambs, and we have the veterans who have been speaking Filipinos all their lives. So despite that language barriers, you can see that these veterans, these kuyas of the team, are still just reaching out, taking on the extra effort, hanging out after training, joking around during the dugouts before the game. So yeah, this sense of brotherhood, we can't wait to see it, especially as they look to end strong this round one.
Let's see how they do. I felt that. But yes,
She's claiming it.
claiming it. Allison, Carla, thank you very much for coming on. We really appreciate the stories.
Thank
Last
you,
time I
girl.
saw Carla, Lasal lost. Hopefully, Allison, next time I see you, it's not the same thing. Girls, maraming salamat. We'll
Thank
see
you
you
for
then.
having
Thank
us.
you so much.
Thank you.
So, more stories when we return. Keep it here. You're watching The Game. Welcome back. You're watching the game. It's time to say hello to the weekend and strap in for some exciting UAP basketball action. The women's basketball tournament returns to the Adamson University gym as FEU faces UST at 9 a.m., followed by the De La Salle Lady Archers and the UE Lady Red Warriors at 11 a.m. The action resumes in the afternoon with NU versus Adamson at 1 p.m. and the Ateneo Blue Eagles go head-to-head with the undefeated UP Fighting Maroons at 3 p.m.
And now over in the men's side, we've got two doubleheaders this weekend, starting off with tomorrow's games at the UST QPAL. Second seed National U faces off with Adamson University at 12 noon, while the De La Salle Green Archers match up with the University of the East at 4 p.m. On Sunday, the action moves to the SM Malavage Arena as the UST Growling Tigers look for their first win against the FEU Tamarals. And it's the Battle of Katipunan, Ateneo versus UP to close off the first round of eliminations. You can catch all the games on One Sports, the UAAP Varsity channel, and the Pilipinas Live app. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Sam Corrales.
And I'm Paulo De Rosario. This has been The Game.